Woman this week, we look at women who have made a difference in the society. Women who took the risk and delved into territories that were once seen as male-dominated. Sumaya Athumani is one such woman. She is the CEO of the National Oil Corporation. Born in the coastal region of Mombasa, Sumaya was lucky to have parents who were keen on education and thus avoided the Swahili culture of early marriages. She managed to get equal access to education just like the boys in her family, something that was not very popular in her community since boys were given priority of education.
They would push us, you finished one level, they would say, no, go for the next. You finish your first degree, go for your master's, So they were always pushing to ensure that, no, keep learning, keep studying. Right now, things have improved tremendously, even within our communities. We see the number of girls who are actually studying, to different levels, higher levels of education, very many different fields has really grown significantly. So I think that is something that definitely has happened within the community.
Sumaya completed her O-levels at Kenya High School and acquired a degree in law at the University of Nairobi.
And then I got an opportunity to finish it in the UK at the University of Lancaster. And then I went to University of Bristol to do my master's. Thereafter, I came back home. I went to the Kenya School of Law. I got my diploma in law. And at some point, during my working life, I got an opportunity to go to Oxford to do advanced management studies. So I went there to study that. And other than that, it's been maybe very short courses, geared perhaps specifically to the industry that I am in, oil and gas, or governance as well. I've done a fair bit of training in governance, and I am actually a certified governance trainer, so I train in governance.
After graduation, Sumaya joined the private sector and worked as a lawyer. However, that was short-lived as she one day came across a position advertised in the local dailies by the National Oil Corporation and applied.
They were looking for somebody to head their legal department. I'd never heard of National Oil Corporation before, but I said, okay, here is my chance to walk the talk and apply, which I did. They offered me the position. And then when I started the work, I realized I'm enjoying actually the business aspects of the work. And I started handling strategy as well. They then added corporate affairs to my docket. So I was doing legal strategy and corporate affairs. Eventually, the board appointed me as the deputy managing director. And at the expiry of the contract of the then MD, I was appointed, I wasn't appointed, I applied. It was a competitive process. So I applied for the position of the MD, and that's how I got the position.
Being a woman delving in what was seen as a male-dominated industry was not easy. Sumaya encountered several challenges in her application to head the giant oil company.
People don't expect a female and maybe a young woman in hijab, you can keep adding to the list to apply for that type of a position. And so, some people have preset ideas on how they want the process to go. So it wasn't a straightforward process. Actually, we did it several times before eventually, the process was concluded. So I think for a woman, your challenges start not even after you're in the door, but even trying to get through the door, you're faced with all sorts of obstacles being, thrown your way.
Yes. She was determined to get the position and nothing could stop her. She eventually got it. But being a woman boss came with its own challenges as well.
When you're dealing with professionals, they take you as a professional. So they'll give you an opportunity to prove yourself. Can you do it? And once you show that you can, they're happy to deal with you as a professional. They will give you the type of space that they would give to another professional. But unfortunately, you don't always deal with professionals. Yes. So you meet all sorts of people who are there for their own objectives. A lot of them are really there for their own personal objectives. you know, and I'm not talking about within the company only. I mean, these are people you'll meet with outside, different stakeholders who are only there for their own personal interest. And, you know, the minute they think, you know, you are there, you know, focused on doing your work, you know, they know they are not going to get through some of the things they want, then they put a lot of pressure, whether it's direct pressure on you, whether it's political pressure, whether it's, you know, all sorts of funny pressures.
Yes.
So you will deal with that. You'll deal with the fact that you know, men do have a different style of working from women. So, and not everyone understands that. So whereas it is a strength, I think both genders have a lot to learn from each other to help build, you know, a cohesive team. There are people who don't understand that. So in the current day and age, your workforce, Generation Y, Generation Z, millennials, the people coming in are very young. They are very mobile, they are very fast. So you have to be able to relate to that generation. If you can't do that, you know, you'll not be able to help bring the best out of your staff. You know, enable them to give you their discretionary effort. But there are people who don't understand that.
Being a woman leader makes one more passionate about certain issues affecting women. Sexual harassment at the office is something that has cost many companies good employees.
What we have done, for instance, within the organization is to have a very well-established policy and talk about it, and, you know, so that people are aware this is not okay. And even in other forum where we do meet, say at the CEO level, there was a forum that we met, we specifically highlighted this issue because sometimes people don't realize that it is a real issue that women do face. And I guess increasingly men face it as well, but unless people talk about it, it's, you know, hushed, and then it creates a very difficult working environment. So I think having a very robust policy and having an open approach to it, that listen, if you do have an issue, you know, talk about it, is very important.
Balancing family life and a career is a major concern for many women, and Sumaya is no different.
One of the things that I realized is that you need to prioritize. And prioritizing is not only in the workplace, it's also outside. So even with my family, for me, I don't delegate family. They have very high priority, which means if there are family occasions, if my children have functions in school, I want to be there myself. You know, it's not one of those things that I say, oh, I'm too busy to attend. To the extent possible, I prioritize that because, you know, at the end of the day, your children grow up and they leave, and you lose such an important time.
She has been at the National Oil since 2007 and is a member of the Association of International Petroleum Negotiators. She also sits on the National Fossil Fuel Advisory Committee and the National Fossil Fuels Training Subcommittee.
My advice is be very focused on your values. Be clear what those values are and be very, very focused on them. You'll meet a lot of people who want to challenge your values. They want to tell you, oh, are you the only one wanting to walk a straight line? Everybody else is doing A, B, C, D. They want to try and compromise you. You know, they want to just break rules and regulations and do all sorts of funny things, and they want to pressurize you to join them. So you being a value-based person, I think is extremely critical, because at the end of the day, you'll face all sorts of challenges.